Welcome everyone to our first Copilot Newsroom for the year of 2025, where we focus on exciting new updates in Microsoft 365 Copilot. We've created this series to help you navigate and stay ahead in the dynamic and constantly changing Microsoft Copilot ecosystem. Today, we're going to cover the latest updates and try to answer some of the questions you might have by diving into practical strategies for maximizing the value of Copilot within your organization. Additionally, we will dedicate time in each session to answer your questions about Copilot towards the end. So we encourage you to actively participate in the chat by asking your questions, share your experiences as we learn about these updates together. At the end of the session, today we will also have a QR code that houses a survey for this newsroom that we kindly ask you to scan and fill out so that we can continue to bring you these fun Copilot newsrooms in the new year. We will be recording this session and it will later be available on our website as well as on YouTube. So please let us know if you want to have a copy of the presentation that we will be reviewing today. We can send it to you. Just in the past few months, Microsoft has released numerous updates that we're very excited to showcase for you today. Unfortunately, with Ignite and the holiday break, if we went through all of them, we'd be here till Friday, really. So today we're going to look closely at new features that have been released over the past couple of months that we think will be the most advantageous for you. Before we start, we're going to go through a quick intro of our team. And then we've also split this session into five main sections that I'll get into in a bit. So before we dive into content, most of you know that who we are at Valorem Modern Work, where our world revolves around the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. With Viva and Accelerator, we are a large community of change managers utilizing ADKAR and ProSci methodology to drive transformation at organizations. Valorem Reply profoundly holds all 6 solutions partner designations, including Modern Work, Business Applications, Data and AI, Azure, Digital and App Motivation, Infrastructure, and Security. Additionally, we have Modern Work advanced specializations in adoption change management and custom solutions and teams. And we look forward to learning more about your organization and how our expansive Microsoft knowledge can be of more assistance to your organization. My name is Kellen McLeod. I am an adoption change management consultant with Reply, and I'm going to toss it over to my colleagues presenting with me today to introduce themselves as well.
Hi, my name's Lee. I'm a senior Microsoft 365 consultant at Reply Valorem Modern Work, and really excited to take you through a whole bunch of updates today.
And I'm Alex Zakorin. I'm senior M365 consultant with Valorem Reply. I'm very passionate about Copilot, specifically on the technical side, and I will be joining my teammates to take you through latest and greatest from Microsoft in the Copilot world.
Thanks, guys. So our agenda today is a bit compact. We had a lot of updates coming through. We'll be diving into Copilot chat in your apps, and then I'll be tossing it over to Alex to run us through adoption and agents in Copilot, who will then turn it over to Lee for admin and management capabilities. At the end of it all, I'll lead us out with some fun incentive towards the end of the session. So without further ado, let's dive in. A couple of updates coming to Copilot chat, including a new logo. Microsoft 365 Chat will now bring together 3 valuable features in one offering. It still provides a free, secure, AI-powered chat using GPT-4 and web grounding. You also get access to agents integrated into the chat experience, which are grounded on your work data and available on a consumption basis. Plus, it includes IT control like enterprise data protection and agent management per usual. Microsoft Copilot for Entra account users will be renamed Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. The new Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat will allow end users to discover, create, and use agents. The new Copilot Chat will be accessible within that new M365 Copilot app with options for admins and end users to control access. Additionally, the Microsoft 365 app will be named or renamed Microsoft 365 Copilot, and its icon will be updated as announced during the November 2024 Ignite conference. Some other exciting updates. We are announcing the Copilot Chat and Agent Starter Kit. The new Copilot Agent Starter Kit provides you all the resources that you need to build and deploy your own Copilot agents. You can find overview of guides, creating agents, Copilot chat scenarios with agents, some latest blogs, as well as end user resources on how to get started. Today, we have announced that in addition to text, Pages now supports more content types, including rich artifacts like code, interactive charts, tables, diagrams, and math. These artifacts can be created in BizChat based on either your web or work data. They are interactive and stay in sync when shared through Microsoft 365 apps like Outlook, Teams, as well as others. Microsoft is also adding multi-page support where you can create multiple new pages in a single chat session, as well as adding content from several chat sessions to a single page. Copilot chat prompts will also be able to ground on page content as the page is updated, helping ensure that those Copilot responses are accurate. And also, you'll be able to edit and share pages on your mobile device, so you can continue working with Copilot and your colleagues while you're on the go. All these capabilities are rolling out to Pages in early 2025. All right, let's dive into some app updates. Some exciting functionalities are coming to Copilot for Excel, and we know these are long awaited for some people in comparison to other apps. Copilot with Python is now available for US users on the Excel desktop app. On a more basic level, there's a new start experience to allow users of all Excel skill levels to create tables as well as cross-reference files from within your organization. This is huge for our Excel people because it will be able to import internal data and search the web for publicly available information, such as exchange rates or statistics that you want to insert into your Excel sheets. Some other exciting intermediate functions are more advanced text analysis for analyzing survey comments in Excel and pattern recognition and suggestions to help you use more efficient formulas in your work in Excel. Also not listed here in Excel, users will be able to clean their data more easily. So this functionality in Excel detects and offers solutions for text inconsistencies, misspellings, number format issues, extra spaces. This feature rolled out back in December for Copilot in Excel for the web, but then is slowly incorporating itself into the desktop version. Excel will also, or rather Copilot in Excel will also be able to recognize several patterns like text transformation, date transformation, simple arithmetic calculations, row numbering, forward filling, and suggesting formulas to users to apply instead of the ones that they are using. So this is a feature that has been rolling out throughout January. Some exciting new capabilities in PowerPoint. Microsoft is rolling out some amazing new features through January 2025 into February. First up, Narrative Builder will let you ground your stories on files. So just add a topic with a file and Copilot will help you create accurate and relevant sections tailored to your needs. Presentation Translator will help break down language barriers. It'll also So you'll be able to translate your presentations into 40 different languages, making your content more accessible to a potential global audience. Microsoft has also integrated with Templify alongside SharePoint, so you can automatically include company images in your presentations. This ensures that your slides are always on brand and visually appealing image-wise, and I know that some people at Reply are very excited about this functionality, along with the capability for Copilot to understand images better. Users will be able to ask questions about images, extract text, get a description of a chart, translate information, or generate alternative text based on an image. So this is huge because previously Copilot wasn't able to really see images or understand them. There will also be a rewrite text option with Copilot where it can automatically condense or professionalize your content, making sure that your message is clear and impactful to whoever you are presenting it to. Speaker notes can automatically now be added to all your slides, helping you deliver your presentations with confidence and ease as well. Some new Copilot capabilities coming to New Outlook first, followed by Classic. Don't ask me why it is the way that it is. It just is this way. Soon you'll be able to prompt Copilot to schedule focus time to help block out areas on your calendar to help you get those procrastinated tasks out of your way. Soon you'll be able to enjoy AI-generated summaries and automated meeting agendas for your meetings, even when they're not scheduled in advance, through your Outlook email threads. It uses your Microsoft 365 graph data and incorporates the context from a long email thread to a draft to suggest a meeting time for everyone, and also creates agenda based on what was talked about in that corresponding email thread. So instead of carrying on that endless email thread, you can find a time to meet, and Copilot gives you direction for what to discuss to help you align more efficiently and also help you prepare for your upcoming meetings. By opening meeting details, there will also be an option to prepare for a meeting. Copilot summarizes based on meeting-related information throughout your Microsoft 365 graph and provides a unique summary for each attendee based on the content that they have access to or have accessed recently. So these updates are rolling out currently in Outlook. We've got some cool new features in Outlook that are now available in Teams Premium to make your workday easier. The Places card gives you a comprehensive view of your daily activities, letting you update your plans and book rooms or desks right from Teams or in Outlook. Copilot recommendations helps you decide the best days to come into the office based on your team's plans and meetings. So yeah, you can get a comprehensive view of what's happening in the office the next day. With easy space booking, you can also find and book meeting rooms quite easily, as well as with room management that lets Copilot handle room bookings and rebookings if there are any changes. Speaker recognition in meeting spaces also makes sure you know who's speaking and keeps your meeting recaps accurate. These functions are now generally available, but could still be on their way to your environment. Some more new functionalities in Teams. There's going to be file summaries in chat, where Copilot can now provide quick summaries of Word documents, PowerPoints, presentations, PDFs in both one-on-one and in group chats, allowing you to grasp the key points without needing to open those files. I know that this feature has also been recently rolled out in OneDrive as well. On-screen content analysis is also included in this update. Copilot will be able to extract and cite information from slides, even if it wasn't mentioned out loud or in the chat, assuring that you have all of the relevant cited details. Some new Copilot capabilities in Word. Copilot has introduced several new functionalities to enhance the document creation experience. So now Copilot can reference meetings, emails, and documents when generating new content and help you find additional resources related to your prompt and cite them properly. It offers example prompts to help get you started, supports more longer reference content, and provides coaching on structure, flow, as well as tone. Additionally, you can add or generate images for your document, receive automatic replies directly on the page, and utilize the read aloud functionality for responses. Copilot will also be able to summarize those longer documents in chat and provide quick summaries before you even open that Word document, making it easier to manage and understand that content. And lastly, OneNote capabilities are also on the rise, which I think many of you might be excited to hear. Microsoft 365 Copilot has introduced new functionalities in OneNote to enhance your note-taking experience. You can use natural language to summarize and rewrite your notes for better clarity. The interactive note-taking feature allows you to click the Copilot icon to take notes, create task lists, rewrite pages directly within your OneNote experience. For quick organization, you can just simply type organize the section to have Copilot arrange your notebook pages in seconds. Additionally, Copilot can analyze OneNote content and provide citations while working across other apps like Word, PowerPoint, and BizChat, telling you where you can find this information. Just kidding, this one's the last one. Stream is going away with with Clipchamp is coming on the rise. Both interfaces remain identical at the moment as Microsoft prepares to sunset Stream. In Clipchamp, there are more video editing capabilities, and there will be a video summarization feature that allows users to directly summarize content that's embedded in Outlook and PowerPoint. All right, now I'm going to toss it over to Alex to run us through adoption.
Thank you, Kellen. We're going to spend the next 10, 12 minutes discussing what's new in adoption and agents. So one of the things that Microsoft introduced during Exchange in the end of 2024 is this Copilot journey experience. This experience specifically helps with onboarding and skill building for end users and teams who start adopting Copilot. And it has multiple different tracks that users who are new to Copilot can get introduced to this great tool. So there is a 30 days experience that tailor for Copilot users with a specific task for every day where users can practice with pre-built prompts interaction with Copilot. And every day has specific tasks that the user can complete. There are other options where if not enough time to spend on Copilot learning, users can go with a 6 weeks experience where those tasks spread out a little bit more between different days. And there are another path that users also can take with just complete self-paced experience, understanding new Copilot functionality. So this meant to be great adoption tool for organization who just start rolling out Copilot, or even for organization who already rolled out Copilot, but they're trying to bring new users. After assigning licenses to those users, this could be a great tool to onboard those users into Copilot. Microsoft dedicates extreme amount of time and effort on making sure that leaders of organization who deploy Copilot understand the analytics, how Copilot use. Copilot control system has been introduced during Ignite, and it's designed for IT teams to confidently adopt and accelerate the business value of Copilot and agent. So Copilot Analytics can be specifically accessed through Microsoft 365 Admin Center and through the Copilot dashboard. And this particular Copilot dashboard, it lives in Viva Insights. And what has been announced that Viva Insight now will be included in Microsoft 365 Copilot at no additional charge, where users will be able to consume analytics from a Copilot usage. And leaders will be able to make a decision how Copilot gets adopted and what type of impact it creates within organization. And also we'll touch a little bit more about some additional reporting that has been rolled out for Copilot analytics system. What's important to know that Microsoft released Copilot survey templates. So for organizations who adopted Viva Pulse, which is self-service application, people who use Copilot will be able to provide answer on pre-built surveys, where it's another mechanism to measure engagement of end users with a Copilot. And those templates are a great starter kit for communicators and adoption leaders within organization to measure experience of end users with Copilot. What's important, one of the most important things that has been introduced in Copilot Analytics world is a business impact report. So this particular report that could be configured by leaders within organization, leaders who create engagement with the Copilot, and adoption managers to measure success of Copilot rollout within an organization. What's good about this report that it could be self-configured based on different capabilities of the tool, and also it can take measurement of different organizational KPIs. So it's very intuitive to configure that report, and it will be able to provide accurate information about Copilot usage. What also has been introduced, Prompt Gallery, formerly known as Copilot Lab. It's a very powerful tool that allows end users to track their prompts, their ability to save prompts, but also what will be introduced, ability to share prompts not only for Copilot, but also for agents, and also the features that extend functionality of sharing, commenting on specific prompts. So it will create additional engagement points between the team if the team of specific project want to share prompts that help them with the productivity, with completing some task in Copilot. They will be able to share those prompts. They will be able to comment. They will have ability to like those comments, so that it will create additional interactivity with the prompts and Copilot, and it will ignite more collaborative effort working in Copilot environment. Now let's talk about agents. So if 2025, the probably most used word in our vocabulary was Copilot, I believe in 2024 it was Copilot. I think in 2025 it will be agent, because Microsoft specifically concentrate right now on next level of generative AI revolution in corporate space and enterprise space. So now organization adopted Copilot. The next steps, the next level of iteration of adopting this AI revolution is adopting of agents. What has been announced during Ignite and after Ignite, rollout of those pre-built agents that will be living in M365 environment. Those agents will be able to supercharge Copilot with additional specialized skill and specialized knowledge. What's important, as I mentioned, it's out-of-the-box functionality, so you don't need to build those agents. Microsoft already pre-built those agents, and it has unique rules and business role features. So we will just cover a few of them during today's discussion, but facilitator agent, it enhances collaboration by taking notes during meetings. Interpreter agent, it's a very cool feature that can have live and translation during the meetings. A project manager agent that's going to be best friend for our project manager colleagues who run in projects. And SharePoint agents, although they are not new, but they have some enhanced functionality as well. An employee self-service agent is also something that our HR and IT departments will really like. So specific SharePoint agents and facilitator agent. I want to just take a time to talk about facilitator agent, because it's something that will enhance our team's meeting experience. We know that we have right now with Copilot, we can summarize meeting transcriptions, we can create some tasks. Here we will get even more interaction with Teams meeting, real-time notes while meeting is running. It's the ability to interact with Copilot as a group of people within a meeting will help us to enhance that meeting experience. So I'm very excited to start playing with those features, because I spend a lot of time during the end meetings, and I want to have more interactive experience during those meetings. The agent that doing live translation, I think it's an amazing feature. I think in the beginning of 2024, we had a customer, global customer, and one of the questions that they asked at what point the Teams functionality will be able to provide this live translation, because they have meetings where people from 5-6 different countries were presenting, and they had to find translator, and it was a lot of barriers. So with interpreter agent, those barriers will be removed, and I think it's going to be one of the best features of those pre-built out-of-the-box Copilot agents. The project manager agent, as I mentioned, it's going to be a huge helper for our project managers because it has very good integration with Microsoft Planner. It will be able to automatically assign tasks. It will be able to communicate with different team members. So this is going to make project manager lives much easier. Self-service agent, it's kind of dream tool that will help, first of all, HR professionals, because currently with HR professionals, you know that if you have question, you're gonna send email, or you're gonna try to reach out from your HR team. They're gonna send you to some resource, being in SharePoint and some other area where there are some documentation, some policies stored. Instead of doing that, this employee self-service agent could be configured with the knowledge that contain all the different benefit information, HR policies, information about PTO, and users will be able to directly interact with this agent and without involving any HR professionals. And the same thing goes with IT information, because there are a lot of questions about standard canned IT questions, and users tend to open service desk requests for those questions. Agent is going to be first line of defense, where end users will be able to get quick answers right away by just interacting with this particular agent. Agents also will be introduced in Microsoft 365 apps, in Word and PowerPoint. And the capabilities of Copilot within those products continues growing. The agents will be able to enhance some of the features and functionality that users will be able to perform. So users will be able to inquire and utilize those agents within Microsoft Word. They will be able to actually ask questions about text within the document, and it will help to better experience of generating and creating Word and PowerPoints, because agents will have access to the contents of the document that just been recently generated. So you will be able to talk to agent and ask, like, what's in that paragraph? I want to make some changes. So that will help even increase adoption of Copilot within those Microsoft 365 tools. And one of the last things that I want to mention in the agentic world, it's announcement of pay-as-you-go billing model. As you know, right now, in order to interact with SharePoint agents, you have to have Microsoft 365 license. Microsoft decided to change adoption of those agents by allowing to use agents without M365 license. So what has been introduced, this pay-as-you-go billing model for agents. The IT administrators who manage your M365 environment, your tenant, will be able to set up a special subscription, and the consumption of those agents will be built based on number of interaction with agents. So this functionality, like everything else that we are discussing today, rolling out beginning of 2025, and will be available in your tenant soon. I encourage you, because this is going to be very powerful. You want to make sure that you understand how this functionality works, because administrators will be able to set up certain limits. So suddenly you're not going to get a very large bill from Microsoft. But again, I'm encouraging administrators to really understand how this pay-as-you-go billing model works, and make sure that you put proper mechanism in place to control usage of those agents by end users. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Lee to discuss admin and management.
Thank you very much, Alex. So we've got a huge number of innovations coming our way, as we've already said. This is just the cream of the crop, where we've sort of whittled down what is actually over 100 new innovations in Copilot over the last several months. So this is as I say, the cream of the crop in terms of what those are. And as we get into administration and management, a lot of these are focused around this new concept of the Copilot control system. So Microsoft have said during Ignite that they are treating Copilot as the UI for AI. And a lot of what they've said over the last few months has been around that user experience and how users can get the most out of that product. But there hasn't been as much for the people who are sat behind that, the administrators, the IT teams who are enabling that technology for their end users. So the Copilot control system is designed as a suite of different capabilities across the different workloads within Microsoft 365, so that you can give confidence to those administrative teams, those IT teams, that they can be confident and safe in the knowledge that Copilot is being used in a responsible way and is using how it's intended to be used. So the Copilot control system offers various tools across data protection, across management, and across measurement as well. So you can see, and Alex has touched on a lot of this through Copilot Analytics, you can see how and where the tools are being used. So that Copilot control system, for administrators, this means several things. So there's now a dedicated AI administrator role within Microsoft 365. Up until the end of last year, some actions that were related to Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot especially were limited to global administrator roles. We can now span that off and spin that off and democratize the administration of our AI services through the AI administrator role, allowing users to be able to do the changes that they need, make the changes that they need without necessarily having to have too much permission, so that those global administrator roles can be kept for only those who really, really need them. We've got a dedicated admin page, which has been slowly growing. It's something that we've been talking to customers about for many months. And every time we revisit the admin page, there are more functions and more functionality on that. So that was introduced last year. It's designed to bring together all of the admin functions in one place, because a lot of these are stored in things like the Teams Admin Center or the SharePoint Admin Center or in Purview. The Copilot in Microsoft 365 Admin Center page is designed to get you a starting point and a landing page to bring all of those together. We're also seeing Copilot come into the admin center itself, so you can use it to complete tasks and understand sort of what's going on within the tenant. And there's more reporting being added as well, so we get reports for Microsoft Copilot within the admin center, so we can see usage and where that tool is being used. So it's not necessarily the hugely granular analytics about the performance of the tool and how it's used, but you can see where it is being used in terms of the number of users, etc., so that when you're managing licensing and so on and so forth, you can keep up to speed with it. And building on that, we've got more usage reports again. So we're now getting more comprehensive metrics, as well as Copilot for Microsoft 365. We'll also be seeing these metrics for agents as well in the not too distant future. And that will be agents built internally within the organization, but also agents coming from third parties and partners that can be brought into the environment. So you'll be able to get those comprehensive metrics to understand how active those different Copilot agents are, when they were last active, so that you can manage and maintain Copilot's presence within your organization. So you can get that complete picture, see what utilization's like, making sure that the attention is given where it needs to be for the tools that are being used, and that we can wind down tools that perhaps are no longer being used within the organization, keep things lean and mean and under control. Now, this is probably my favorite slide within the updates that I've got, because I think this is huge. So SharePoint Advanced Management was an additional SKU that was introduced some time ago, where it brought together a bunch of functionality that helped you supercharge your SharePoint administrative control. And I'm thrilled to see that this is now baked into the Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So this is still rolling out. It will take a little while for all of this functionality to light up in each tenant, but we're now able to use some of these premium features to help manage that tenant where Microsoft 365 Copilot is present. So this will help you really build on the governance framework and the security framework that you have in the organization to really help supercharge how Copilot can work. So we can govern content, we can make sure security and access is in the right place. We've got the tools for administrators to be able to take action and make interventions wherever they need. And we can also use some of the power of Purview to now come across into the world of Copilot, as well as the rest of our Microsoft 365 landscape. So by implementing some of these fine-grained tools, we can really start to build up that security and governance picture. And the next few slides break down some of those capabilities that we're going to be getting. And that is to say that there are more coming to it. So not only are we getting access to this suite of tools, there are also new tools coming online as well as of the last several months from Microsoft Ignite and onwards. So these are a really big deal as far as I'm concerned, because previously we'd have had to use third-party tooling for a lot of these, whereas now we've got inbuilt tools within Microsoft 365 to achieve some of these goals. And that permission state report, I think, is one of those big ones. So that's going to help your administrators identify content that's over-permissioned across the entire tenant so that we can take action and make sure that our tenant and security posture is the right way around. Looking at site ownership, we can then democratize more of that activity better. It's not just going to be IT's responsibility to make sure everything is secure and that people have access to the right content. By enabling admins to automate some of this out and democratize it out to site owners, we can make sure that our sites are in good health. They actually have owners in place. As folks move on from the organization, site owners can be replaced, so people can still take ownership and control of the data that's within there. And we can see content that is perhaps no longer active. So we can begin to prune the estate so Copilot has good recent information. And not only from a Copilot perspective, but also from a retention point of view, we're only keeping the content we need to keep, and we're not just hoarding more and more and more content that goes stale and is no longer relevant. We can restrict how many sites are created, so we can already do that on an Office 365 group level by preventing people from being able to create those. But now with restricted site creation, we can also do that for SharePoint sites as well. So those sites that are unconnected from Microsoft 365 groups, and again, that helps us to prevent any sprawl across the environment. Inside access reviews, this is a big democratization of responsibility where IT administrators can kick off that process and hand that back to a site owner and say, please make sure only the right people have got access to the site you own, so that when people are using Copilot, they're only getting back responses with information they should have access to. Data access governance is a big part of that tool set. So I've already mentioned quite a lot of these in terms of file permissions and oversharing. And where those policies can come into place. But the sharing insights is a really key important part of this. We can now generate reports that will show us where we may have the everyone except external users group still in play. We can identify where we have the shared with everyone in the organization type of links, so that we can drive those down and make sure that only, again, the right people have got access to the right content for when Copilot respects that access profile and accesses that content when it is generating its responses. And using restricted access control, we can double down on that again. So not only can we have permissions within the site to say this person has access to the site in question, with restricted access control, we can say only these people should ever get access to that site. So by targeting access with RAC, we're able to say these people could have access, and these people shouldn't have access. And if someone tries to share content with someone who falls outside of that pool of users, you can then get that insightful reporting on those instances, and you can track what needs to be done. Do we need to review the site security policy? Do we need to review some sites and perhaps split those up where people are being invited into content quite often? Is that content perhaps in the wrong place? And as we take that further with restricted content discovery, this is kind of taking a functionality we've had for a while, which is restricted SharePoint search, where we can say Copilot can only access up to 100 sites. We can now flip this on its head with restricted content discovery, and we can now have a block list. So we can now move from that really broad sweeping allow list model into this block list model where we can say this specific content should not be discoverable by Copilot. So with restricted content discovery, we can make sure that that site becomes invisible to Copilot and organization-wide searches through Microsoft Search and Intelligence, so that content never appears in it. So we're getting far greater granularity control over that access. And that's something that is rolling out or has been rolling out in December, so should be in a lot of tenants today, although the license, as I've said with Sam, might take a little while to kick in as that change is made. There's a bunch of new insights, and Alex has covered a lot of these going through the agent section, but we do now have the ability to see more of those insights within SAM as well, so that we can take action where needed, as a reminder on that. Permission reporting, as I've already mentioned, is a huge deal. Being able to get that natively in product to see a wide-ranging view of who's got access to sites, where we've got those really broad groupings available, and perhaps where we want to go and draw those back, we can now do that with the detailed insights from our scoped permission reports. So we can actually take a snapshot of where the activity is going on with our sites, what's being shared, who it's being shared with, and then take the relevant actions on that. So our security posture can become more dynamic, and we're not relying on a static thing that we review every few months. It's a dynamic thing that moves with us all the time. This is another really cool enhancement, I think, where we can now bring more and more content into our search index. So it used to be that you needed to purchase additional licensing to bring in information from third-party systems, be that a file share, be that an ITSM system, be that a knowledge base. You used to have to pay to be able to bring that knowledge into the index in Microsoft 365. Microsoft are removing that, so you can now index up to 50 million items within your tenant. So premium connectors are becoming free as part of this process. That catalog is becoming expanded with those connectors so that we can hook up all of our line of business systems to Microsoft 365 and enhance that knowledge that Copilot can bring back. So it's able to give you far more insightful answers based on more content, not just within Microsoft 365. Now, to protect that content once it's in the index, we're also getting greater controls through data loss prevention. So Microsoft 365 Copilot will respect labels that are in place. So if content is marked as highly confidential, that will be respected and mentioned when Copilot responds. However, you may want to prevent content being seen by Copilot completely, and that might be on that granular item level. So because of the way that labeling works in DLP, where we can say that that's on a file level, a group level, a site level, or a user level, we can mark up content as necessary and say with this new option, never make this available to Copilot. So people can still search for that file, they can see that file, but Copilot will not reference that file when it's making responses. So if you've got M&A activity, sort of acquisition activity going on, and you've got a senior member of staff doing queries that they want answers back on the relationships with certain businesses, if the content related to that M&A activity is labeled up correctly and is prevented from using Copilot, they're not going to accidentally get that data back in responses when they're trying to generate a PowerPoint presentation about the profile of the organization, for example. So you can be really confident and secure on that particular content. And with that as well, we can then target these labels more specifically. So previously, any interactions with Copilot, the questions you ask and the answers you get, was lumped together with Teams messaging when applying policies and applying labels through DLP. We can now do that specifically for Copilot experience interactions. So that includes interactions with agents as well as Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you can apply those labels only to those interactions. So you don't have to apply them more broadly to other items in the Exchange mailbox. You can just target Copilot responses, so you can separately manage the retention, for example, of those items. You may want to have a fairly short amount of retention on Copilot interactions because they're not necessarily being refreshed and referred to all of the time, and leave Teams messages with a longer retention library because that is more useful content for things like content search and legal requirements and so on. And finally, in the admin and management section, we're now talking about risky AI. So there are tools within Microsoft Purview that helps you identify any risky usage. So if you have people who are repeatedly asking about confidential information in the organization, you're actually able to identify that and see that happening. So you can get reports based on that risky usage, much like how you can have reports back on risky sharing and things of that nature. You can now do that based on those AI interactions through Microsoft 365 Copilot and agents built in Copilot Studio, so that you can take proactive steps against that. So you can monitor for users who are perhaps trying to use Copilot because they know it's got access to such a wealth of information. They're kind of trying their arm. Do I have access to content I'm not aware of? I'm going to ask Copilot about that content and see if I can get a response. You can now get a view on those activities happening within the organization through this risky AI usage detection. And with that, we'll have a very brief look at the roadmap, because we are running quite long in terms of the session today. But a big thing that I want to call out here is that we now have Copilot release notes. So rather than necessarily having to keep a track of literally every single point, and as I say, we've only brought you the cream of the crop in terms of updates from the last several months, Copilot release notes, which is available in Microsoft Learn, allows you to see all of the granular improvements and changes and the smaller features that might fly under the radar. You can see what's been released on a timeline view, so you can get a great understanding of what's happening in your tenant without necessarily having to look in 1,000 different blogs and locations. And just before I hand back over to Kellen, I do just want to call out some things coming up in the not too distant future that are really exciting, and workspaces in Loop is probably the big one. Loop content has been a huge uptake in that over the last year. Copilot will now be able to reason over content in Loop, so that when you're asking queries in Copilot chat, you can bring that context in, as well as OneNote and other locations, to really superpower and supercharge those responses. And with that, Kellen, I'll hand back to you to wrap up. And you are on mute.
Thank you.
Happens to us all at least once a day.
Yeah, it does. Thank you both so much for those updates. Before we approach Q&A, we do have a small favor to ask. Valorem Reply offers sessions like these free of charge as part of the Microsoft Cloud Accelerator program for partners to offer Do More with Microsoft 365 CSP briefing events. So in order to show Microsoft our work, we need our attendees from the session to fill out a quick form confirming attendance. You can use the QR code or link showing on the screen here. When you open the link, you'll need to use the email address and company name that you used to register for this event to confirm your identity as an attendee today. Just a heads up, you may encounter questions about your tenant ID, but assuming we all, don't keep that on hand, you can use your company URL instead. For example, my company URL would be @reply.com. Also, at some point in the form, you may be asked to select which briefing we delivered or which one you attended. Today's event is Get Copilot Ready Briefing. It doesn't necessarily match the title of this meeting, but trust me, you are on the correct survey. We really appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to fill out this form to confirm your attendance today using this QR code so that we can help deliver more events like this and bring you the most recent Copilot updates. And to show our appreciation to those who fill out the survey, by the end of the week, those who do fill out the survey will be entered into a drawing raffle for a $20 Amazon gift card. The winner will be drawn and notified via email next Monday. So please, please, please fill out that survey. You will be entered into a raffle for a $20 Amazon gift card. I don't know about you, but I love a gift card, and the survey doesn't take very long to fill out. So please, please, please fill it out for us. We'll keep that QR code up as we move into questions. I'm going to go ahead and open the chat. Rachel, do you know if there's any unanswered questions that you're seeing on your end?
Yes, I think we have a few here. So one was about the Pulse dashboard. Does the Pulse dashboard require additional access?
Of the Pulse dashboard, to be able to configure that initially, you would need to have either Global Administrator or Pulse Administrator access to be able to set up that experience for Pulse. And the sentiment analysis that you can come back from the pre-canned Pulse Copilot questionnaires, I believe seeing those in the Copilot dashboard doesn't need any additional access compared to the Copilot dashboard itself. Alex, I don't know if you know any more on that or whether that is the case.
No, I think you're
I
right.
think that's right.
Yep.
Awesome, thank you.
I think that I've seen some questions about the recording. If you would like a copy of the recording, if you can just email us at marketing.valorem@reply.com. Because you didn't register for this event, we don't have everyone's email if it's not showing on your profile. So if you could just email us and make sure that we have your email, we'd be happy to send you a recording. And then I saw a post about the QR code. We'll post a link here to that. I think that might be all of the questions, but we have a few more minutes if anyone has any remaining burning questions for our experts here. I know that was a lot of information, so please feel free to enter those into the Q&A.
Find that when you're trying to access the survey, it isn't loading. It could be possible that it's being bombarded by survey responses. Hopefully, we are getting that many survey responses. So just try in a couple of hours or so, and it will work for you. Great. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for attending today. Please fill out our survey. We would really appreciate it. My name is Kellen McLeod. I am joined today by Lee and Alex. Thank you all so much for attending. And please RSVP to our next event happening on the last Wednesday of February. Thank you all. Have a great day.
See you
Thank
all
you.
then. Thanks
Thank
all.
you. Bye-bye.